when Musharraf met Manmohan Singh, I think it was in India, you see, because the reason why I put the onus more on India, because India is a bigger country. And what India does, or what India says, or how India thinks, it affects the countries around it. At that time, we had Manmohan Singh, who was an economist. He was a forward thinker. He was a Sikh. He was not a Hindu. And, all these things matter. I mean, these may be, but he was Indian, of course, very much Indian, but he had a vision for India. His vision for India was that India has to rise. That's why he signed that nuclear deal with the United States. That's why, he was having conversations with Russia. That's why he was opening up Indian markets to the world. I mean, he had a vision of India rising. And he knew that the only way India can rise is if India has stable and peaceful borders. And of course, Pakistan, with the history that we have and the problems that we have, he realized that is the country that he had to reach out to first. I mean, okay, they have problems on the Nepalese border. There's problems on the Bangladeshi borders. With Sri Lanka, they have problems as well. But I think the main issue is India-Pakistan, always in South Asia. So he had the vision to reach out. And Musharraf, at that time, I mean, this is my opinion, I may be wrong, was also looking for some kind of political legitimacy for himself, because he was a dictator, he was a military man. And I think the Indians realized that because the military is so dominant and strong in Pakistani politics, that it's best to talk to an army chief, to sort of reach out to him, talk to the military itself. And if they find an army chief who is also willing to listen, because he wanted to establish his own political legitimacy inside the country, I think it just so happened the stars kind of met, and the composite dialogue started. The composite dialogue started, and so there were not only cultural and media, which you have pointed out, but there was very serious talks on Kashmir. And I was part of those talks. And, the opening of the borders, the opening of those points along the line of control, and the travel and the tourism and the trade that was taking place between Azad Jammu and Kashmir and Indian occupied Kashmir, that started, you see. I mean, that was a big thing. Although there were lots of hiccups on that, I mean, we can talk about that for a long time, but I mean, there were problems. But, actually, it did start. And, you would have regular exchanges, chote groups. You had part of the composite dialogue in which, the foreign secretaries and foreign ministers and so forth. But then you had the technical groups also meeting about how to overcome the trade hurdles in Kashmir, so that the Kashmiris could trade. Because, Musharraf was able to reach out to Manmohan's economic mind, and said, if we are able to bring Kashmiris together, if Kashmiris have a stake in the peace, and if they are able to work together and trade together, and if the families which are divided across the LOC, if they can meet, that can help peace. So, that rung bells in Manmohan's ears as well. He says, that is a good idea. Why not have the Kashmiris talk to each other as well? Why should we just always, India, Pakistan, talk about it, and let the Kashmiris also? So this was a very visionary thing. I mean, and mind you, Vajpayee also had it, and then it was translated further down into Manmohan Singh. So you had Manmohan Singh saying things like, I had this vision of having breakfast in Delhi, lunch in Lahore, and dinner in Kabul. So, this was his vision of India. But then, of course, then political changes took place in India. You had the BJP coming back and the rise of the Hindutva and things like that. So things went, after Mumbai, things just sort of wanted to start going.